Good afternoon, Prep News. Special interview here. Again, I promised you guys that we would be back. I promised you guys that we would be back with Coach Nick Smith from Kimball Knights basketball in Dallas, Texas. And he's back. He's dressed. He's in work attire. Looking great. Looking great. Is that court appearance on the night or something different tonight on the court?
Nah, that's that on the court. That on the court look right there. That's what it is.
Right, man. You sharp.
Thank
So
you.
let's just start over, Coach, from part one, and again tell the listeners about who Nick Smith is and how he got his start in high school basketball.
Like I said earlier this morning, that I'm a native of Shreveport, Louisiana, Louisiana boy. Um, went to Turner Middle School, graduated from Huntington High School, the Mighty Raiders. Played basketball there, went on to Paul Quinn College uh, and played basketball, transferred to Southern University Shreveport. And then from there, I finished at Wiley College in Marshall, Texas. Matriculated out to Dallas, got into education, been in the Dallas ISD for 23 years. Uh, got into coaching in middle school football, and moved on to Bryan Adams High School. Coached at basketball there, and then on to Kimball High School, where I was an assistant coach for 3 years. Got my first head job at Pinkston High School in West Dallas, where I coached 7 years, and then moved on to Kimball as an assistant coach again, and took over at Kimball in 2014, 2015 as the head boys varsity coach, and to present, to right now.
Right. So you've had a couple of stops on your way to getting to this point here. I stated earlier that I met you about 3 or 4 years ago,
Right.
and ever since I met you, all you've been about is trying to help kids get to their next level. Where'd you gain your love and passion from in coaching?
Well, I just saw that, back when we grew up in Shreveport, that we had really good coaches at our schools, but I just don't think a lot of them were connected. And a lot of that also had to do with not having the social media, not having a platform, being able to play on those big stages. I mean, we had a lot of talent coming out of there, just even from my years from 88 to 92 and even years after that. But AAU teams weren't big then. They were just kind of taking off around that time. I think it was only a few in the state of Louisiana as it was. And just from that, I remember, and like I said, I love my high school coach to death. Coach Walter Jackson taught me a lot about life, a lot about the game of basketball. But I just remember Coach saying that, after we lost our playoff game to Ruston High School, and Scotty Thurman, who's a good friend of mine, was there. He was a senior there that year. And I think they went on to the third round and lost to Bonneville. He said, all right, any of you guys looking to go play in college, give me some schools that you want to play at, and I'll make a phone call, but don't come up here talking about you want to play at some Georgetown or North Carolina. And I was like, that's it. So luckily, my father had taped a lot of my games with the big VHS, with the big tapes and stuff, and he was just sending them everywhere, man. And I got some feedback from some schools, and even Coach Tubby Smith wrote me. He was at Tulsa at the time,
Right.
But I was able to get some looks, and got a chance to go to Paul Quinn with Coach Summers in NAIA school. But I wanted to be a person or a coach or whatever you want to call it, a in-between person between the colleges and the kids, the high school kids. I didn't care if they played for me. I didn't care what. But if a parent reached out to me, I wanted to make sure I got their film. I wanted to make sure I called those schools and tried to get them somewhere. And that's just been who I have been. You know what I'm saying? Who I am. It's just about helping those kids. And like I said, every parent doesn't want to bring their kid to play for me, and it's okay. They may have their reasons, but I always tell them, all right, you're going to look up in 3 years. And when you ain't got nowhere, you're going to call me, want to know if you can help me. And guess what? It happens all the time. And they're like, Coach, I know you was right. I should have brought him over there like you said, but I thought this and thought that. Well, that's okay. Give me the information.
Right.
I'll get it out anyway,
right. And that's just when you have that kind of heart and that kind of spirit. That's just love for the game. That's just love for the game. That's love for these student athletes. And like you said, sometimes some of them just aren't in programs where their coaches may not have the connections yet needed to help get them where they want to go or where they even should go.
That's correct.
And I look at this thing, man, and it's the more I do broadcast journalism and exposure, it said that all you gotta do is be you and the coaches will find you. I don't know if that's true anymore.
In certain cases, but okay. I'm gonna give you an example. There's a kid who, well, I don't know Papa's real name, that played with your son. Ended up going
Oh,
to Texas A&M.
LaDamian Bradford
Right, but Damian
played
Bradford
at Jonesboro Hodge
played
High.
at Jonesboro Hodge. An example is I was at a game when you guys came up and played up here in Dallas at Duncanville Fieldhouse. There was a coach, college coach there, and he said to me, he said, "Why didn't I know about this kid? Why didn't I know about this kid?" I think
Right,
he was already kind of set to get ready to go to A&M. But he said, "Why didn't I know about this kid?" I said, "Because you guys don't want to," and I'm not just talking about him, I just say you guys, I mean, college coach, y'all don't want to take that flight into Shreveport, if that's the closest airport, or Monroe, then
right.
drive, what is it, from
An hour.
Shreveport to Grambling, an hour. So you talking about getting down to Jonesboro almost hour 45 to 2 hours. You don't want to drive 2 hours way deep down in the country to go watch that kid play. But
Right,
y'all want them to show up at one spot somewhere in the country, whether it's Dallas, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas, and then try to go watch this kid just 3 times versus driving way down there, going to Jonesboro High, sitting down there in the country, watching this kid, going down there 2 or 3 times to recruit this kid. And people
right,
will tell y'all about the kid, but you don't have no film, you don't see him, you don't want to waste your time. I said, there's so much talent in those areas in Louisiana, from Shreveport to Baton Rouge, but just in the smaller towns and cities, is there. But
right. Or drive to Gonzales
I could
and
try to
see a
Gonzalez.
to see a Hobart Grace in the
Yeah,
forest.
yeah, to see a whole great. I mean, they don't want to do that, But if they in this event, oh, I can see that kid there. Well, back in the day, that's what they used to have to do.
Right,
I recall that movie, Blue Chips, when Coach flew down to New Orleans and had to go deep down in the woods somewhere in the back bayou just to go watch Shaquille O'Neal play because somebody told him about him. That's what you used to have to do. And so
right,
now in the social media area and all this, if those kids are not promoting themselves and you're not seeing them putting film all on Twitter and everything like that, they'll never get seen. I know so many diamond in the roughs, especially your son was one of them. So many diamonds in the rough that just get overlooked, and they could be kids you would want in your program that are going to be loyal, that's going to work hard, versus going against these all stars, get these all stars, or what I would call some of these so-called prima donnas that with you for 1 year and end up transferring.
right. That's right. Or don't want to do the work to follow the rules
Exactly.
and then end up transferring, and now they go to another school, and because they got 1 year or 2 years college experience, you treat them like a rock star when they aren't better than the guys that you recruited straight out of high school.
Right. Exactly. And my passion was like I said earlier when we got cut off. I said that I got my 300th win November 19th. That's in this is my 15th year as a head coach, and
Right,
should have had it last year. We made it to a state championship, lost in overtime at the buzzer, but 300th win. So how many ever games we got now? I'm above that. But to have 63 to 65 kids sign scholarships in 14 years, you do the math on that. Plus, I got 2 that's already signed this year. One's a McDonald's All-American going to Texas, one's going to Clemson, and I have 3 more seniors signed in the spring. That says a lot. And I used to tell
right,
people all the time, as bad as I want to win and win a state championship, nothing makes me feel better than watching this kid sit down with his parents and signing that national letter of intent to go to school. And and live out their dream and playing at the next level. Now, even though those 65 kids have signed, only about 17 of them signed Division One. So that also says that not everybody can play at that level, but you probably can play at a level from D2 to D3 to junior college to NAIA. But if you have that dream, you may have to take another path. You may have to go JUCO. You may have to go NAIA and play a year or two, get some numbers, then transfer. But keep that dream. And it's all about getting that degree, at the same
Right.
time.
I know for me, and this is just something that I really believe in. It doesn't matter where you go to play at your next level, because your next level, it just may not be what the next person's next level is. You may not have
Exactly.
done the work. You may not have everything in your bag that the next person has in their bag, and then you may not have done the other part of it, which is the student part, and did your doggone classwork.
Exactly.
And so when you don't do your classwork, you can't cry and you can't complain.
That's
Go to
correct.
JUCO, do your 2 years or do your 1 year, whichever one you need, and then just okay, go from there. So okay, I had a minor setback, in which I don't know how getting an associate's degree is a setback, but
And some
hey,
and some and some kids frown on JUCO. I mean, I was one of them because I finished Huntington High School at 3.5. I got academic stuff, academic scholarships, but I had several JUCOs wanted me to come there, but I looked down on it because I thought, well, if you go to JUCO, that means you didn't have good grades. Now, this is 1992. And if you didn't have good grades or you didn't do
right,
what you're supposed to do, I never looked at it as because I needed to get stronger. I needed to work on my handles a little bit more. I needed to get better. I need to improve. I didn't
right,
look at it like that. I looked at it like that. But now I have to convince these guys, hey, you may need a year at JC. I know some Division One schools say if you go JC a year, they'll recruit you.
right.
See, I have to talk about the different paths. And then if it's a situation where you didn't handle your academics in school, you may need to go to junior college to learn how to be a student.
Right,
You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
Some kids don't know how to be students. You may need to go to JUCO so you learn how to get up, go to class, all this different stuff to prepare you for that 4 year university or college.
and I'm gonna tell you, bro. Seeing my son go through this JUCO process now, nobody's coming to wake your hind part up. You better be up and be about your business. If not, you're about to get left behind.
Exactly.
And that's just, and at the end of the day, you're supposed to get left behind
Yeah,
because you're preparing for real life now. And if you aren't ready to get up and go to class, how are you gonna get up and go to a job?
that's
How are
right.
you gonna want or expect a paycheck? No, nobody gives you those things.
Right, correct. And a lot of times junior colleges, they can pass those out. A lot of times junior college can prepare those kids for that. It- just going from that to going to a 4 year school, you know what's required of you. And sometimes these kids, man, 18 years old, going straight into a 4 year university, so it overwhelms a lot of them. And
Right,
I had to tell some of my players this a year ago, man, that and this is what's crazy. I said that when you go to college, okay, everybody, you may have been the man, fifth grade, pee wee, pop Warner, what do you call it? Middle
right,
school, you might have been starting your whole life. Parents said, oh, you've been starting this whole life, ain't never came off the bench. High school, been starting this whole life. But when you get to that college, now, trust me, they've told you, yeah, you'll have a chance to play. Yeah, you'll have a chance to start. You got to work your butt off. They're going to tell you whatever you need to know to get you there. And
right,
when you get there and realize how hard you got to work, and then you coming off that bench, now it's a problem. Now you're saying, oh, they lied to me. They told me this. They told me they ain't lied to you. See, somewhere, wherever you go, there are going to be some guys that's already the guys. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Then there's have to be some role players. And you may fall into a situation where you sign somewhere and they got two or three guys already, which
right,
means if you want to play, you're going to play this role. Some kids can't handle it. So now they
right,
got the portal. They put their name in the portal. I don't like it here. They ain't treat me right. Then you transfer somewhere else a little bit lower. And then it may work out there. Then again, it may not. Then you transfer somewhere else again. You have to understand, kids have to understand that I may have to wait a year, wait my turn. Back in the day before guys started leaving out of college, going to the league, I mean, you only had what Moses Malone, Daryl Dawkins, and then Sean Kemp before they really
Right.
started coming out with McGrady and Kobe and all them kids. But during that time, shoot, you might really not start getting some real burn in your sophomore, junior year
Right. Because everybody was good.
because everybody was good.
It is like that now, and that's not to a certain sense. It's like that. Period. If you go to from high school to JUCO, NAIA, Division III, Division II, or Division I, whatever your level of play is, dudes are just dudes.
They do.
Like everybody can dunk, everybody can shoot. What are you gonna do to separate yourself from them to make the coach say, "Hey, damn, I gotta find a way to put him in the game. I gotta get him 18 to 20 minutes,
That's right.
or 25 minutes, or 30 minutes."
Find something you can do that will keep you on the court. I don't care if I'm just gonna go out here and D my butt up, D my butt off rather. Play defense. I'm gonna guard the best players on the team, but I'm gonna find a way to get on this court. And a lot of kids aren't willing to do that. They just want to say, "Man, I can shoot the ball." Man's parents say, "My son can shoot the ball." Yeah, he can shoot, but can he handle the ball?
Right.
Or he can handle, but can he drive to the bed? Like every coach is looking for something different to complement their team. So when they bring this kid in, they're looking for something different. That's why some schools don't recruit every kid. And then too, it's not just about the talent. A lot of these coaches, the majority of them are looking at character.
Right.
Kids don't understand when you come out the game, people are watching how you coming out, if you're shaking your teammates' hands, or if you just come out going to the end of the bench, sitting down there pouting and all that. You don't realize all these people looking at you.
That's
People
right.
want not only good student athletes, they want kids with good character. I've been fortunate to have, 3 McDonald's All Americans. I've been fortunate to have 3 or 4 guys that have gone on to the NBA, several guys that go pro. And it's amazing that when those scouts, those NBA scouts and people really start calling you about their kid, they'll call their senior year if they think they're going to be a pro. But when they're in college, they call from elementary school teachers to janitors or whatever you want to call it, custodians. I mean, they call you and they already know about the basketball part of it. They want to know about that person's
Right.
character. How are they off the court? Are they good locker room people? Do they have attitude problems? How they spend their money? Do they make good decisions? So I try to educate these young folks on that today, and they listen. The ones that do, they listen, but there's a lot of them that go in one ear out the other. And then when they go off to school, they'll hit you a year later and they'll say, "Man, Coach Nick, you were right. Everything y'all was telling me last year, man, it is true." But some of them have to go through that, you know,
Right.
to see, because
Exactly.
we've gone through it as men, and we older now, and we try to give back and let them know this is how it's gonna be.
Right. As a young coach, growing up, cutting your teeth in the DFW area, who are some of the guys that were on at the top of the food chain when you started? That we have a coach here in the Lake Charles area uh, that coaches girls at LaGrange High, Lakeem Holmes. He said, as a coach, he's a thief. He said everywhere he goes, he's looking to see. It may be a warm-up drill. It may be a specific play that a team runs and he likes. But he said he's stealing something everywhere he goes, or he's trying to. Who have you taken stuff from as a young guy that helped you get to the point and the man you are now as a head coach?
Well, that's a good question because this man actually was in the DFW area back in October for the JUCO showcase they had out here, and his name's Ed Hall. He's coached at Wake Forest. He used to run the 5-star camps up in up in where they used to have the 5-star camps at, and then he did the Big D 5-star camp we used to have here. And when I first started out as a young coach, I was working a lot of camps, going to colleges, working any camp I could get in. And from his camp, it taught me so much. Even when he came here, I hadn't seen Ed in over, shoot, man, probably close to 18 years. And he came in town, and he did a practice with my guys this year. And the stuff we started him out with, I said, Ed, you ready? He comes out. He says, okay, yeah. And he said, all right, all that y'all just did, that was BS, whatever. Okay, let's go. And then he went into a whole different thing, and my mouth was just like, and me and my coaches were looking, and we were into it. And he was on my players. He'd say, all right, everybody half court. Then he'd look at him. He'd say, he'll start cussing like, y'all just hear me say that. They took off running, man. And you got this 70-something-year-old dude, we ain't never met before. And it's just the way he commanded his presence. And then what he was teaching, I became a student of that from him. And then from there, I went on to other high school coaches here in the DFW area, such as Leonard Bishop, head coach at Lincoln, had Chris Bosch and all those guys. Had another coach, Robert Allen, who coached Seagerville, who coached LaMarcus Aldridge, who's in the NBA, and a few other guys. Had guys like Snoop Johnson, who was the head coach here, who's my mentor, who I was assistant coach for here at Kimball. His dad, Goree Johnson, who was a former coach here. My thing is you can learn something from everybody, and believe it or not, not just from coaches. It ain't just about other high school coaches or college coaches. I've learned some things from certain middle school coaches, or AAU coaches, because I tried to tell a college coach one time something who's a friend of mine. He had one of my players. I said, bro, if you put my kid in this situation here, because where you're trying to play him, it's not really fitting who he is. If you do this and this and just find a way in your system to do it, you'll get more productivity out of him that way. Well, he goes and tells a mutual friend about, tell Nick, this ain't high school. This ain't high school. This the big league. This big league. I'm like, we can't all learn from each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what you can do to probably get the best out of him, because I know the kid.
That's right. And sometimes I think on the college level, coaches, once they pick, okay, this guy is my favorite, and now it's a principle or a matter of, everybody else just gotta get in where they fit in. Well, sometimes if you just show a kid you believe in them and their abilities, what the hell did you recruit them for if you're gonna throw them to the wolves?
That's exactly what you're right. And it don't work out. Let me tell you this. It just doesn't work out with all of them. You want it to. I mean, I've wanted it to with kids who've come to my school, going into the 9th grade or wherever, however they get here, I've wanted it to work out for every last one, but sometimes it just doesn't. And I actually feel bad about it, but, you try to show them you believe in them, you give them chance over chance after chance. But I'll tell people in a minute, everybody just can't play here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You think about this. Can everybody just go to Duke and play?
No.
Now, they may recruit them, but then they get there, and you even see Kentucky, man, some of the kids transfer after they freshman year, sophomore year. They coach give them, they just can't. It's just not working for them. So they transfer some wheels, have some success. Everybody just can't play everywhere. And you have to kind of try to go what fits you, and you try to make that decision right the first time, but it don't always work that way.
Right. Everybody's not Alabama, where kids are going to be willing to sit on the bench for 4 years. And okay, now it's my senior year. It's my turn to get on the field, and I know I'm gonna get 1,000 yards as a running back. But can I work a little harder to get that 1,500 to 1,800 as a running back in 1 year?
Right.
And a lot of times that's what you have at Alabama, or like the guy that's the quarterback now. He waited his turn.
He did.
And so it paid off. Heisman in his first year of football. So everybody's not going to be that. Let's talk a little bit about, Coach, about what this 2020-2021 season has been for you guys. And did you know Tell me the young man's name that just got got selected for the McDonald's All American game.
Yeah, his name is Arterio Morris, 6'4" point guard, Texas signee, and uh, he was selected as a participant for the McDonald's All American game this season coming up, and very proud of him. He's done very well for himself. He has a bit of a story to tell. He's one of those kids you can say really use basketball as his out to just try to get him out of different situations and what he's seen growing up and to try to make it. And great story, great kid.
Right. So again, Coach, talk to us a little bit about how this season has been going, and did you know Morris was going to be a McDonald's All American at the beginning of the season?
Well, I had a feeling that he probably would have at the beginning, but it was still kind of on the bubble, so there were some things that needed to be done just for him to get that final push. Starting out in this season, uh, we knew we were going to have a good team. Didn't quite know what to expect, and we didn't quite know what to expect at first. But once we got in the fall leagues, we kind of saw what kind of team we'd have. We started out 4-0. Got a chance to play a national schedule. I know you asked me that earlier. Playing some of the top teams around the country, and some of them we beat, some of them we lost to. But when we lost, it was either at a buzzer shot or at a tip in or last second shot. So it was the manner of the loss, which put us at. We started out number one in 5A in the state of Texas, pretty much all the way up until I want to say the second week in January. We were number one in 5A in Texas, and then we were number 14, no, number 9, no, 14 and like 21 or 22 at one time in the country, top 25 public schools in the country. We were sitting there, and we, had our bumps like you normally would have during the season. I see a lot of really good teams, and then I see some of them that are okay. They're sitting there 25-3 right now, 26-2. I mean, we're sitting here at 19-8. And like those records don't mean jack because by the time you get in the playoffs, because that's the main goal, getting the playoffs, and then when it turns up, you see how it go. Those 8 losses we have, maybe 2 we shouldn't have, but the rest of them, you talking about these teams are top 10 in the top 10 in the country. You know what I'm saying? They're around us. So what I said, we have heat on our schedule, and we're out there competing. And what that means is we did that to get us ready for when we got ready to go in the playoffs. So we've been what I can say battle tested tremendously this year. I mean, we just got back from Orlando Sunday. We've been down there since Wednesday of last week in the Montverde Academy tournament when we opened up with them. And we were whipping them. I mean, we were battling them all the way up to the fourth quarter. We just ran out of gas to play 6 guys. Their whole first 5 was Duke, Florida, Indiana, Texas, and Kentucky. That was just the first 5. They ain't including guys on the bench. I got Texas, Clemson, and maybe one more that'll go D1 other than the other one D2, and maybe an NAI kid, and sat out there and battled for 3.5 quarters, and then just got ran out of gas and just got away from us. But I don't like losing, but I could take that L because I watched them compete the entire game. And I said, that's why I did it. That's why I did it. I said, y'all, then we lost to Long Island, then we beat American Fork, number 1 team out of Utah. So, great weekend. Now we come back. We'll play South Oak Cliff tonight. And it's just been, to me so far, a really good season. But it'll be great if we're playing for a state championship again.
What is a day? What is a day in the process of getting ready to play a big game like South Oak Cliff? What's that game day like for you guys? What are you guys doing as coaches? And then what are you requiring of your kids to be doing up until game time?
One, make sure they're at school and in class. Because the biggest thing I don't want to happen here is when I'm waking up and I'm headed to work, I get a text or a phone call, such and such, he didn't got in trouble, he didn't did this, or he was late coming to class or something like that has happened. And something like that happens. That's the one thing you don't want to have. Other than that, the coaches making sure each and every one of them are in class at the first period, of the day. making sure they're eating at lunch. We go check and make sure they're all at lunch, making sure they got something to eat, making sure they're in film on that day, they're in their advisory period. And then during athletics, we have somebody to come in and feed the kids. Some days we'll let them go and get themselves something to eat. For most days, they'll eat, but they have to do film, that's pregame film. And then they'll eat, and then they'll get in, then they'll get shots up, free throws. We'll do another walkthrough, and then we'll get on the bus or head to our competition gym for the game.
Right. So I follow you on Twitter and Facebook. Big fan of what you guys do. Every summer, all summer, you guys go train at a facility.
Yes.
How much is strength and conditioning and building skill set? How important is that to the Kimball Knights basketball program?
Well, it's very important because we just figure we don't want anybody to outwork us, what I call outstrength us, outcondition us during these games. And the one thing I used to be really good at is lifting during the season. This year and last year we didn't as much during the season. You want to try to get in one lift a week if you can, somewhere between. It doesn't have to be heavy; it can be light. But in our off season, we go hard. In the summer, I got a friend that owns this place called the Athletic Zone in West Dallas, Dennis. He does a wonderful job with my guys. They go in Monday through Friday for 1 month, the month of June. And it's not like they're football players just doing deadlifts and all that. This is like made for basketball players, okay? And it's building up their core, they conditioning, they're getting stronger. They do that for 1 month. And then in July, I don't do nothing with them because they're playing AAU. So when they get ready to go into July, their body's looking good, they're feeling good, they're strong, and they're going in AAU and they can go put in work. So also in that month of June, the days they lift, then we'll go to the school and we'll do our summer workouts and whatever, and where they're doing skill work and stuff like that. That's all that we let them do is skill work, and then that's pretty much it. So then when they come back in the fall, we'll take mid-September all the way through mid-October for 30 days. We'll do the same thing with him, and then that's pretty much it. Usually, like I said, we'll try to get in once or twice a week. We haven't done it this year. We've been all over the place, man, flying. Traveling, it just hadn't been a lot of time. Then you preparing for the next game. Like I said, we were gone Wednesday to Sunday. You get back Monday, we got to have practice, which is basically a walkthrough, and then get ready for the game today. So that's how it's been pretty much all season.
So here in Louisiana, as you know, because you're heavy into the high school basketball scene. No matter what state it's in, you have reach into several states and a lot of different regions of where about how sports happen. Here in Louisiana during the month of June, we play a summer league. Starting in the May to the 1st of July. What is that time period for you guys in the DFW Metroplex area? What is that like?
Well, we can do all season up until the summer, and then we have to turn in to our athletic director, and they send that to our district athletic department on our workout days. We have to have that. Then they have 2 weeks in the summer. I think one of them it's about a four days or so in June, and it's about 4 days somewhere in July where we can't have any on-campus activities as far as working out or anything.
Wow.
Now they can go to at the facility and do the weights, but we can't have anything on campus where it's shut down all over the state of Texas. So, we got a lot of restrictions when it comes to things like we can do a spring league, and usually if they have spring league, if you decide to participate in one, that can start mid-April to mid-May. That'll be like 4 weeks. You play one game a week or something like that. You might jump in another one so you can get 2 games a week. But that's about it. Coaches can't coach their own team. You have to have somebody do it, and that's it. I know in certain states like Colorado and certain places, their head coach can coach their summer league, fall league, whatever you want to call it. And we can't play in any leagues in the summer, so no.
Right. And here in Louisiana, the head coaches more than likely are the ones coaching the summer league teams and summer league games
And I don't see
all,
why we
all,
can't do it here. I
all
never
season long.
understood. Yeah, I don't understand why we
I,
can't do it here.
I don't either. And again, all it is an extra opportunity for kids to compete.
Yeah,
But hey, what do we know, Coach?
right.
Coach, let's talk a little bit about where you guys are right now in reference to the playoffs and how far away the playoffs are and what competition in your region are you going to have to deal with?
Well, right now we're sitting at 9-1 in district. The only loss we've taken was to Lancaster High School, uh, and it started over before the district started over. We went through everybody. We were 8-1, 9-1 before we left, and then it started over. So, like I said, we'll be playing South Oak Cliff tonight. We have to a few more games. We have to play Lancaster February 11th. We'll see them again. They'll be here at our place, like soccer be here tonight, and then a few more games after that. So we're looking at our last district game should be, I think the 18th, I believe, no, the 17th of February, and then the playoffs will start the 22nd of February. So you're looking at about after this week, you're looking at about 2 weeks to playoff time. So right now we're sitting in second place. We need to take care of South Oak Cliff tonight, and we need to take care of Lancaster. We take care of Lancaster on the second time around. We'll be tied for district co-champs or whatever like that with Lancaster. And normally you can play a play-in game to decide the seeding, who goes first or second. You can play a game like a tiebreaker game,
Right.
or you can flip a coin. You know,
Which would you rather do?
this year, depending, sometimes like we like to look ahead at the path. If the path is the best route to go is first, or the best route to go is second, uh, if the best route to go is second, then we can flip. Because if we win the flip, I can say, all right, we'll take second. Even though we co-district champ, we'll take second. That's the route we go. But if the best route uh, is first and we're tied, we may decide to play them again. It just kind of depends. I
Right.
wait, talk about it with my staff and coaches and things like that. Because you could just not play them, do the flip, say we'll go first or second, it don't matter, and then you win your district. You can play a warm up game before the playoffs and go play like I don't know, a Richardson, a Duncanville, somebody that maybe a 6A team that you always wanted to play or something like that people
Right.
might want to see.
Talk a little bit about the team, the playoff teams that you'll possibly have to meet in your region to make it to what is it, Austin or San Antonio?
With
Where
San Antonio now, right now, teams that I know that have brought pretty much everybody back, teams that we faced last year, Beaumont United, who won the state championship last year, is one of them. They brought all their guys back. Amarillo, they brought all their guys back. We beat those guys. Lancaster lost a lot of kids, but at the same time, they have a good core there right now. They're playing pretty well. We have to see them. South Oak Cliff may be one too. Frisco Memorial playing well. They just had their kid Drew Steffi just committed to Texas Tech. Uh, so those are just some of the teams. We may have to run into a Highland Park again. These are just some of the teams I can think of off the top of my head that you'll see in there. That we'll probably
right,
see.
Coach, it's game day for Kimball Knights basketball. As always, I wish you much success in everything you do. If there's anything that Off the Bench Sports can do for your program, I'm always a phone call away. You're welcome to come back anytime and talk about Kimball basketball, or if you need to get a kid out there, just hit me up and I got you. Thank
Okay,
you
that's
for
no problem, man. You got to get me and Coach Williams on, man. Me and Ladarian on. I like to see my protege out there. What he got going, man. See what he
man.
got going. I see the fell in love out there and stuff. So you
Yeah,
know.
he got the first thing he want. I want to tell you is that he got engaged.
Okay,
Um,
that's great.
but the Terrebonne area, man, has a lot of athletic kids.
Okay,
But what I think what has been missing is a guy like Ladarian who really
Right.
truly is in love with the game, and now they're actually, he comes from a great coaching tree like Nick Smith, who asks his kids to do everything, and so that's all he knows.
Right.
Is what he learned as a player and as an assistant, and so he's having growing pains, but I believe that at the end of the day he's going to be just fine, Coach,
No,
because of his love and passion for the game.
I know he will, and I'm so proud of him right now. Like I said, you got to get us on. When he has time, and my schedule permits. Also, I'm a lot more busier than he is because I'm a little more famous than him. But
Yeah,
he,
I
he,
like it. I like
he's
it.
gonna get them. I'm doing interviews every day, just different stuff like that. But I remember at one time when I first got into coaching out here, man, being out here, not being from Texas, DFW, or being from Louisiana, it took a while. I said, man, all these coaches, they talking to all of them. I'm just going in locker room with my head down. I just got my brain beat in, and
Yeah,
now I can't stop from getting calls and Zoom calls and interview. I mean, all over. And sometimes I'll be like, damn, I got to do another. You know what I'm saying? But it just comes with the territory. So you get what you wish for. And
right.
like I said, I don't know if you saw that post I made on Facebook the other day when I was walking off the court, my head down. I just got through doing one after the
I
game.
did. I
I
did.
said it's afterwards where I find my peace, and that's what I
Right.
meant. Not the limelight, but it's just being me.
Oh,
If I'm gonna say,
trust me, I know, man. I do live broadcasts, 2, 3 games a week, most weeks, and I do off the bench sports prep news every Monday through Friday, 9 to 10:30 or 11, and then like now we got a special interview with you today that I'm honored that you took a time out of your day for little old me, and then on Sundays I do a live podcast about real life issues. So I definitely understand like when you're away from the camera and the lights aren't bright, now you just get the woo-saw,
yeah,
take that deep breath and let it all out, and you're like, man, damn, I'm glad this one over. I got to
yeah,
do it again tomorrow though.
that's right.
So
But I'm enjoying this one because it's you, you're my dog, you're my boy. So I'm
no
enjoying
doubt,
this.
man. No doubt.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it, bro. And again, you're welcome, man, to come back and talk about Kimball anytime. I'm traveling right now because I got a couple of kids that I haven't saw this year yet, and I need to see them. And so I'm traveling now to go see some kids that I need to see and be able to talk about because it's their senior year. And if you do nothing else, don't cheer for a kid for 3 years and then in his senior year you don't make it to not one of his games.
Right. You're doing a
So
good
that
job.
when coaches ask you about him, you can give an honest evaluation.
Correct.
And that's what it's about for me, Coach. So, man, thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome, man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Hey,
you getting in contact with me.
hey, put that put that nice sword down on sock, man. Put the,
Okay. We're
yeah,
gonna take care of business tonight.
no
Definitely.
doubt, man. Thank you, Coach Nick Smith. Remember, get off the bench, get into the game.
Good seeing you, man.
No doubt.